So the recording is going to start in a little bit, starting now. And here we go. So this document right here, this Parlay University, it's pretty easy to navigate. If you click on my name, you'll see what the information is here. And then there's a couple of different links within it. There's the video. And then at the bottom, there's some questions that we'll hopefully get to at the end. Now, I am not going to read through all of these articles word for word. I am not going to watch the videos with you because more than likely it'll lag or the sound won't work. So when we get to the videos, I'm going to give you some time to go watch them on your own. They're not boring. I'll tell you that. Mostly it's just showing you what some of the buildings look like. And then the other video is the virtual field trip where you literally are in present day Rome. You'll see lots of different people, and you'll get to use the arrows and stuff to navigate. And it's kind of cool. So to start off, basically what the purpose of this is to compare ancient Rome with the US today. And if we scroll down here to this first article, it's linked. It's 5 greatest feats of Roman engineering. So I'm going to click on that. And it's going to take me right here. This is super short. And it gives you 5 things that the ancient Romans did. Now, this picture right here, this is an aqueduct. And this aqueduct is still around today. You can go see this. It's a tourist attraction. And the virtual thing is really blurry. Virtual thing, like the parlay. Oh, the field trip are you talking about? Because we're not on that yet. I don't know. I'm just going to keep going. So basically what an aqueduct is it supplied water to cities. Public baths were huge in ancient Rome. And I know you guys are thinking like, oh my gosh, public bath, like that's kind of gross. Really, honestly, I personally just kind of think of them like a pool or a swimming pool. So they had cities, public baths, forums, private households. Water was running to all of those things, and it was running through these aqueducts that were both above ground and underground. So you can see that. Roads, something we, have a lot of. Roads were built, and Rome actually built 250,000 miles of roads. And their roads didn't just go from main cities. They also went into more of the rural countryside areas because these roads were helpful to the Roman army. And they allowed the Roman army to move fast, to move quickly. And they were super important for trade and things like that. So some of these roads that the ancient Romans built from thousands of years ago are again still around today, and people still use them today. So that is definitely something very interesting. Bridges. They were not one of the first to build bridges, but they were some of the first to use different styles of bridges. So, hi, Wyatt. So you can see here that they have these arched bridges. That is something that they were known for, and that is still, again, super popular today. They were very strong, they were durable, and they lasted sometimes for thousands of years. This one right here was not built by ancient Romans. There is parts of bridges built by ancient Romans that are still around today, but they're not usable. They're just kind of there for show, but you can't travel over them. So this one was built later. But again, this concept of the arch is something that the ancient Romans did create. This right here is the Pantheon, and you'll get a better glimpse of that in the virtual field trip. But right here, the Pantheon has this dome, and that was something that, again, they didn't really pioneer or make, but they perfected it. They made it really awesome and then were used again countless times throughout history. So the Pantheon has this big dome shape on the top. And then at the very top in the center, it's called an oculus. And basically, they didn't have windows in the dome. What they had was just this oculus, and it's an opening in the center of the building. And it was just so all of the natural light could flood in and light the inside of the building. And you guys will see what the inside of the Pantheon looks like. And it is huge tourist attraction for one. It's beautiful. They have sculptures all over. You'll get to see some of the art that they have displayed. It is very fancy. And again, that all stems back to ancient Rome. So the domes are something they did. And finally, the last thing of Roman engineering is concrete. And that's something that we all use today, right? We take it for granted. It's just kind of something we've always been accustomed to or had, but the Romans were actually one of the first to make it. And they used like a unique mixture that made it super powerful and not indestructible, obviously, but it was very hard to, I guess, wreck or ruin. And then this concrete helped them to build the aqueducts. It helped them to build the domes and the roads and these huge buildings that ancient Rome is known for, such as the Colosseum, right? That huge amphitheater where they had their gladiator fights and all that stuff. So, 5 things that we can still see today from ancient Rome. Now, this video right here, I'm pretty sure 7 minutes. Let me look. Five, almost 6 minutes. So I'm going to post the link in the chat. I'm going to give you guys some time here to go through and look at it. But this just goes over some of these buildings that ancient Rome has, and a lot of them are still, again, standing today. Huge tourist attractions. But just so you can see how detailed their architecture and their building skills were, because think about it, this is a long, long time ago, and they're building these crazy advanced structures like this. So I just want you to look through it, see how detailed everything is, and come back, let's say 1:35. So make sure you're muted when you watch it, so not everyone hears it. And come back at 1:35.
Mr. Tajik, you're muted.
Yeah, all the time. Thanks, Wyatt. I literally do that all the time. I don't know why. I forget. So going back, are there any questions about the video? Hopefully you got to see a little bit more into some of the different things ancient Rome has to offer. You saw some of the architecture. You saw that Christianity was a religion that is being used towards the end of the Roman Empire. You saw that Latin, that's one of the languages that, again, is being adopted and spoken. And then that influences many other languages, such as Spanish and French and Italian, all of the Romance languages. Trying to think what else. Anything else that you guys saw that was interesting or important or stuck out to you? I know, I'm terrible. I'm sorry. I forget that I mute myself sometimes. I just like get in the, the zone and I'm focused on what I'm saying, and then I forget to unmute myself or forget to record things. So Teresa's gonna look back on this and be like, what the heck was her problem? Indoor pools, yeah, you saw the Great Bath. That was essentially just like a pool. So, and that was something super popular among the Romans. I know some of the sculptures, I'm surprised no one said that, but hopefully when you guys went to the Art Institute on your field trip, the sculptures didn't freak you out too much. But again, that was something that Greeks, Romans heavily influenced, and that was like super influential for all of the arts for many years to come. So moving on from that, people in suits, statues were cool. Okay, cool. So other thing that is on here is this article right here is Traces of Ancient Rome in the Modern World. Again, I'm not going to go through the word for word, not going to read it. Something cool though, what you guys can do, you can change the reading level. So I'm going to go to 7th grade, but you can go all the way down to 3rd grade if you want to. You wouldn't get as much out of it, but so you'll see if you read through or skim through it, some of the comparisons that are around today from this ancient world. So again, Greek designs, buildings. I mean, many houses have columns, or see, and I don't really know, I guess in North Branch. I'm sure you guys have seen it. Some houses in Bay City, because Bay City is a historic town, there's a road of literally all super old houses, and they're beautiful. But they have all the columns, they have the fancy decorations and everything. They just look super old. So that's a style that was introduced by Greeks and Romans. What else is in here? Talk about cement, the sculptures. Oh, it says how the cement is made. Volcanic ash and volcanic rock. Modern scientists believe that the use of this ash is the reason that structures like the Colosseum still stand today. Interesting. So science, again, technology, those were huge things. A lot of farming practices were invented by the ancient Romans that we still use today. Crop rotation. Basically what that means is farmers, we don't plant the same type of crop on our fields every year. You have to rotate it because some crops restore nutrients to the soil, whereas other crops take out the nutrients from the soil. So for us, on our farm, we plant a lot of cover crop, and cover crop is something that you plant early on in the year, like March typically, or you plant it late in the fall after the crops have been harvested. And it's radishes, or not radishes, peas, oats, Rye is another one. But these plants, they put nutrients back into the soil. They put nitrogen back into the soil, and that helps the crops that we need to grow, like beans, corn, wheat. So just a little bit about that, but that's something that ancient Romans figured out. Manuring, another thing, putting manure on the fields as a sort of fertilizer. Literature and language, Shakespeare, he was heavily influenced by this time period. You'll get to read all about Shakespeare in high school. It's okay. I'm not going to lie to you. It wasn't my favorite. Some of you may like it, but that's another thing. Alphabet, Latin. You see all the Romance languages here: French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, Romanian. Those languages all stemmed from Latin, which came from ancient Rome. Their laws, they had courts, they had justice systems, they had hearings. So those are all things that are still around today. So if you want to read through, there's more information on there. I just kind of skimmed through it, but that is there for you. So here is this link down here is the field trip or the virtual tour. So I'm going to click on it, and you guys won't be able to hear the sound. There's a little ad in the beginning. Can't see it, so.
Mr. Tajak, I could hear it.
Really? Can other
Yeah.
people?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Well, maybe it's gonna work. Hold on, Wyatt. I'm not there yet.
It was staticky
Chill.
for me.
Staticky. That's kind of what I figured. A lot of times it lags for people if the sound does work, but I'll show you. So these little arrows up here, I'll just show you. So there's this lady doing a voiceover through all of this, but these arrows in the top left corner allow you to move around in a 360-degree way.
What for this?
Right here.
Oh God,
What?
Brady, don't.
Landon, thank you. So Trevi Fountain is something that is super famous. Lots of people go there. You can see all of the sculptures that were created, but then you can literally, if you want to, go all around. You can see all the people that are tourists there. You can see what some of the housing looks like here, and they're going to go through lots of different monuments. So that is there for you to kind of play around with, but I'll play it. So this is inside the Colosseum, and the Colosseum is one of the places where they had their gladiator fights. So these would be stadiums full of people. You can see the ruins, the remains of this structure. These are all primary sources. These come from directly from the time period. First-hand accounts right here, but you can take a look at it. And again, these are all open to the public for you to go and see. I'm not really sure about right now, being the situation that we're in, but hopefully in the future. So you can look around there. So this is one of their famous arches. Again, that arch was something that ancient Romans kind of pioneered. But you can see all of the engravings on these. These are very intricate. They aren't just slabs of concrete thrown up. There's lots of different things that are drawn directly onto these monuments here. So this is the Pantheon, and they're going to show you the inside of it, which I want to talk about. But this is on top of it. You'll see in a little bit, they have their dome ceiling with the oculus, and I'll show you that, what it looks like. But Pantheon, they got the columns. So this is what it looks like on the inside of the Pantheon. And for one, you look, there is sculptures all around. You can see all different colors of cement, concrete. There's gold in here. This was turned into a temple, place of worship. So you can see all of these little intricacies. But if I go up, this is the dome right here. And you can see the oculus is this opening. It's this center where light can just flood in. And may make you a little dizzy here, but that is the dome, and that is something that they, again, pioneered and perfected. So this is a very big building, very beautiful, lots of different things to look at. This was obviously the front. I know there isn't any international travel right now, Kate. I know I'm if you lived in Rome, I don't know if you can go to these places if they would open up, but I know we personally can't. Lifted June 30th, hopefully. Here's another statue. So I'm going to stop it there. Again, there's still like 2.5 more minutes probably of different things. If you want to keep watching, you can, but I want to take these last 12 minutes and explain the assignment. So for one, I understand there are questions here. I really would rather you do the training manual assignment than worry about these questions. If you're super bored and want to, go ahead. But the training manual is what I would like all of you to do. So I'm going to go back to Google Classroom. I'm going to go under classwork. And now everything from the training manual assignment is under week 6. We are in week 7, but I had posted it all last week. And again, this is due on Monday, May 25th. Now, some new additions that I didn't have posted during our meeting last week. I have a training manual how-to video. I literally made a YouTube video. It's 21 minutes long, so it's very detailed. And it explains how to create this training manual, as well as I created like an example one as I was going through it. So I'm going to pull that up, and I'm going to pull up the assignment itself. So this is what I explained to you last week. I didn't have a ton of time to explain it, but basically you are again creating a book for kids. You are a Roman adult, you live in ancient Rome, and you are creating a book. And this book is kind of like all the tips and tricks to living in Rome. What do people need to know about ancient Rome? What's important? So that's the premise, that's the thought behind the book. Now, I had some people ask questions as to whether they had to do it on a Google Slides. The answer to that is no. You guys can choose to do this however you want. If you want to make a legit book and do it, if you have paper at home, colored pencils, crayons, whatever, if you want to draw and color and make an actual book for kids, that's fine. If you want to do a video, maybe it's not even a book, you're just giving a video for kids explaining, that's fine. If you want to do it on Prezi, or if you want to do it on Google Slides like I showed you, that's totally fine. Whatever way you can get your message across the easiest is fine by me. I do not care what creative approach you take. Completely up to you. I personally thought Google Slides would be the easiest. It's something that I think most of us know how to navigate and use. So that was kind of my thought process behind it. But if you want to do something completely different, that is fine. I'm going to show you a Google Slides though. Let me make sure there's no questions. It's technically due, Kate, Monday at midnight. So I have class on Tuesday for social studies kids. So I want them to have it done before that. That's why it's Monday. So I'm going to the Google Slides right here. And this is also on Google Classroom. Now, I kind of made like a template for you. So on your first page, if you go, you are to create a cover page. And that cover page has a creative title. It has 2 to 3 sentences explaining what it's about and pictures. So if I go here, you're going to have a title. You're going to have 2 to 3 sentences. Think of it like a quick overview. What the heck is this book about? You can write anything you want as long as it's appropriate. And then you'll have pictures around it. Remember, this is a children's book. You're going to want to have lots of pictures. This is just some plain boring book that has no pictures, boring font, no colors. A kid is not going to want to pick it up. It has to be something that is fun with lots of different pictures and something that is going to want to entice a child to read it. So that's the first slide. The second slide is your introduction slide. And if we go back to our instructions, that is basically like your overview. Typically, when you have a book, you have a summary on the back, or you have some quotes about the book, or something telling you a brief synopsis of what that book is going to cover. And that's what this slide is right here. So on your introduction slide, you'll have positive things about being a Roman citizen, negative things or drawbacks, bad things, however you want to word it, about being a Roman citizen, and any advice that you have for a Roman citizen. That's what's going to go here. That's your summary. That's your brief synopsis of what this book is going to be about. Then finally are your content pages. So remember, there's 8 options right here, 8 different topics. You only have to choose 4 of those topics. The topics are law and order, religion, family, food and drink, housing, education, recreation, and history. So you choose 4, and those 4 are your next 4 slides. So I have religion, education, history, and food and drink. And then once you fill those slides in, that's it. That's the assignment. What goes on each slide is you're going to have, why did you choose that topic? So why did I think religion was important? Why is that something that kids need to know about? Then you're going to include your outside research. This is the bulk of where these content pages, this is the bulk of it, what's going to be on it. Your outside research is things you're looking up on the internet that you think are going to be important little facts that kids should know. So for me, I looked some stuff up, and I said, as an example, in ancient Rome, the 3 most important gods and goddesses are Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva. Jupiter is the protector god of the state. Juno is the protector god of women, and Minerva is the goddess of craft and wisdom. So that was something that I thought was important. So I included it there. Then once I have my, Evan, you're good. You already turned yours in, so you're good. I'll see you later. Once you have your information down, then you have to source it. So you can do this a couple of different ways. You could put your source right here, copy and paste it. What I did, the reason why it's pink and highlighted is because I linked it. Here was my source that I used. It's from PBS. When you're picking sources, you want to make sure that they're credible. So you literally copy it, and then you highlight what you want to be linked. And then you come up here and you click this little button and it says insert link. And you'll see that I have that link pasted right here. And you don't see any source. You don't see any weird link. The other option is you can have a sources page at the end. Whatever you want to do is fine as long as you have your source there. Then you have your research. You have why it's important. And then these two questions, you guys can kind of summarize that up. But why, or what do they need to, or why do they need to have an in-depth understanding? Again, kind of why is it important for them? So why did you choose the topic? Why is it important for them? And some research. And then you would do that for each of your 4 topics. If you want to do more than 4 topics, you're more than welcome to. Again, that's totally fine. Make sure you include pictures on each content page, and I think that's everything I needed to cover. Questions. What kinds of questions do you have for me? Wikipedia is not a good site to use. Okay, PBS, National Geographic, Britannica is a good one. Those are all good sites to use. Make sure you're using credible sources. Any questions? If this was, again, confusing, you still don't know what to do, there is the video. If I can get off of this right here. Ducksters, yes, Josie, that's another good one. So that video, again, goes through and explains everything. And after this, we only have 2 more weeks left. And we're going to learn about all the different well, not all of them, but some of the different world religions. Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, 5 of them over the next 2 weeks. So that's what's coming up. Anything, any questions, any last minute thoughts for the good of the cause? Do we need to do the thing on Parlay? Wyatt, I just said that if you want to, it's there. If you want to think about it, if you want to post something, it was more or less just to kind of get you thinking, just give you some more sources you can use. Again, those things that we used today, the virtual field trip, those videos, those are all sources you can use in your training manuals. Those would all be good documents to use. So hopefully that got your mind thinking a little bit so you don't really have to do the questions. No. But if no one has any questions, thank you for joining. Thanks for paying attention, listening, all the things. I appreciate you. And I will see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy your Memorial Day. Stay safe. Stay healthy. If you have questions, stay on. You guys are free to go, though. Bye, Jacob.
Bye.
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 Goodbye. Goodbye. And goodbye, Tracy.